The relay station drifted quietly at the edge of known space, where stars were fewer and darker, and long-distance signals arrived tired and distorted. Most people forgot this place existed. That was exactly why Elias Cade had chosen it. Elias lived alone on the station, orbiting a small red star that had no planets worth naming. His job was simple in theory and endless in practice: maintain old communication arrays that most modern systems no longer used. The newer networks were faster, smarter, and fully automated. These older arrays needed a human hand, patience, and a mind willing to listen to static for hours. Elias was good at listening. He woke each cycle at the same time, drank the same bland nutrient drink, and walked the same narrow path through the station's corridors. He liked routines. They made the universe feel smaller and more manageable. Out here, nothing surprised him anymore, or so he thought. That cycle began like all the others. He was adjusting a misaligned antenna arm, humming softly to himself, when the station's alert system made a sound he had never heard before. It was not loud. It was not urgent. It was simply wrong. Elias froze. His hands stayed on the controls as his mind tried to understand the alert pattern. The station's systems were old but predictable. This signal did not match any known warning or notification. He slowly turned toward the main console. "Computer," he said carefully. "Identify anomaly." The system paused longer than usual. "Unidentified spatial emergence detected," it replied. "Distance, 3,000 meters. Classification, unknown." Elias stared at the screen. Nothing appeared on the external sensors. No ship signature, no energy spike. Space outside the station looked empty and calm, just as it always did. "That's not possible," Elias muttered. Then, space folded. There was no explosion, no flash, no dramatic light show. Reality simply bent, like fabric pulled too tightly. And something slid through. A ship appeared. It was small, smaller than most transport vessels, and shaped in a way Elias had never seen. It did not look built so much as grown, smooth and flowing, with no visible engines or weapons. Its surface reflected the red star's light softly, like polished stone underwater. Elias's heart pounded. He checked the sensor readings again and again. No known propulsion, no known materials, no known design language. This was not human. The ship did not move closer. It did not broadcast a signal. It simply stayed there, perfectly still, as if waiting. Elias swallowed. "Computer," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Open all communication channels. Passive mode." Static filled the room. Then, through the noise, a voice emerged. Not mechanical, not translated through the station's systems. Clear. Calm. Female. "Elias Cade," the voice said. "I apologize for the intrusion." Elias nearly fell out of his chair. "You know my name?" he said. "Yes." "Who are you?" There was a brief pause, as if the voice was considering how to answer. "My name would not translate well into your language," she said. "You may call me Aruun." Elias stared at the screen, his mind racing. First contact protocols screened in his memory. Rules and procedures drilled into every human who worked beyond Earth. None of them mentioned lone technicians on forgotten stations speaking directly to unknown alien beings. "Why are you here?" he asked. Another pause. "I traveled across space to speak with you," Aruun said. Elias laughed. A short, nervous sound. "That's not funny. I am not joking." "Then you have the wrong person," Elias said. "I'm not important. I don't represent anyone. I don't make decisions." "I know," Aruun replied. "That is why I came to you." Before Elias could respond, a new alert appeared on the console. "Docking request received." Elias's breath caught.
"You want to dock?" "Yes." "Why?" I wish to speak with you, Arun said again, in person.
For one night. Elias rubbed his face with both hands. He felt very small, very human, and very unprepared. You crossed space, he said slowly. Just to talk? Yes. About what? About how you think. Silence filled the control room. Elias stood and walked toward the viewport. The alien ship waited outside, patient and unmoving. He felt fear, yes, but also something else. Curiosity, sharp and alive. It had been a long time since he felt that. Computer, he said quietly. Run threat assessment. Unable to assess, the system replied. Insufficient data. Of course, Elias thought about calling Central Command, about protocols, about reports and committees and endless questions. He imagined this moment being buried under layers of authority until it lost all meaning. He also thought about the way Arun had spoken. Calm. Honest, almost careful. One night, Elias said aloud. Just talking. Yes, Arun confirmed. No recording, no exchange of data, no demands. And after? I will leave. Elias exhaled slowly. All right, he said. Docking permission granted. The station trembled softly as systems adjusted. A few minutes later, a gentle vibration passed through the floor, followed by a quiet confirmation tone. Docking complete. Elias walked to the airlock. His steps felt heavy, as if gravity had increased. He stopped in front of the sealed door and rested his hand on the panel. This is either very stupid, he said to himself, or very important. The door opened. Aru stood on the other side. She was taller than Elias, slender, with skin that shimmered faintly like light through glass. Her eyes were large and dark, reflecting the room around her. She wore no visible technology, no armor, no symbols of rank. She inclined her head slightly. Thank you for receiving me, she said. Elias nodded, suddenly aware of how human he must look, tired, awkward, unremarkable. You can come in, he said. They walked together into the station. Aru moved with quiet grace, her gaze curious but respectful. She touched nothing without asking. When Elias led her to the small common area, she paused. This place, she said.
It is simple. It works, Elias replied.
That is sufficient for you. Yes, they sat across from each other at a narrow table. The station hummed softly around them. For a moment, neither spoke. Finally, Elias broke the silence. So, he said, you came all this way to talk to a guy who fixes old antennas. Why? Arun looked at him carefully. Because you are not required to optimize your thoughts. Elias frowned. I'm not sure what that means. Your species allows space for uncertainty, she said. For contradiction, for ideas that do not immediately serve a purpose. Elias leaned back. That sounds like a fancy way of saying we're messy. Yes, Arun said, and that messiness is rare. She folded her hands together. My people solved efficiency long ago. We removed waste. We removed redundancy. We removed unproductive conversation. And, Elias asked, and we stopped changing? She said simply. Elias felt a chill run through him. You think talking to me will fix that? No, Arun replied, but it may remind us why we once spoke at all. The station clock ticked softly. Outside, the red star continued to burn, and Elias realized that this night, this quiet, improbable night, was going to matter far more than he understood. The station felt different once the first words had been spoken. Elias could not explain how. The walls were the same dull gray, the lights still soft and steady, the low hum of systems unchanged. Yet the air seemed fuller, as if something invisible had entered with Arun and settled quietly between them. Arun looked around the small common area again. This time, with more focus. Her eyes followed the exposed cables along the walls, the patched panels, the old table with scratches from years of use. "You maintain this place alone," she said. "Yes," Elias replied. "Most people don't want this assignment. Why did you choose it?" Elias hesitated. It was a simple question, but the answer felt layered. "I guess I wanted quiet. Out here, nothing demands attention every second." No one expects quick answers. Arun tilted her head slightly.
"On your core worlds, attention is demanded constantly." "Yeah," Elias said. "If you're slow, you get left behind. That does not trouble you?" "It used to," he admitted.
"Then I stopped trying to keep up." Aruz considered this. "You stepped aside." "I stepped back," Elias corrected gently. "There's a difference." She absorbed that without comment. They sat in silence for a moment longer. Elias realized he was waiting for her to ask something important, something heavy. Instead, she asked, "Do you always hum when you work?" Elias blinked. "You noticed that?" "Yes, it appears unintentional." "It helps me think," he said with a small smile. "Or sometimes it helps me not think." Arun's lips curved slightly, not quite a smile, but close. "You allow your mind to wander. Is that strange where you're from?" "Yes." "How so?" Arun folded her hands on the table. "Our thoughts are guided. When a question arises, it is directed to the most efficient pathway for resolution." "So, no daydreaming?" Elias asked.
"No," she said. "It produces no immediate outcome."
"We'd go crazy without it. Define crazy." He paused, searching for words. "Unbalanced. Overloaded. Empty, maybe." Arun nodded slowly. "That aligns with our findings." "Our?" Elias asked. She looked at him, eyes steady. "I am not the first to observe humanity, but I am the first to listen without an objective." That made his chest feel tight in a way he did not expect. They moved from the common area to the observation window. Outside, the red star cast a dim glow across space, painting the alien ship in soft light. It looked peaceful there, like it belonged. Elias leaned against the railing. "So your people sent you?" "No," Arun said. "They allowed me to go." "There's a difference?" "Yes, permission without expectation."
Elias nodded.
"Sounds familiar. Arun watched the star?"
"Your species has many voices. Many disagree with each other." "All the time," Elias said. "We argue about everything, yet you remain one civilization." "Barely," he said with a short laugh. "But, yeah, somehow."
"How do you tolerate contradiction?" she asked.
"We don't always," Elias said. "But we learn from it sometimes." Arun was quiet for a long moment. "My people removed contradiction. And we removed growth," she said. They returned to the table. Elias offered her a warm drink made from station supplies. She examined the cup, then took a careful sip. "It is bitter," she observed.
"That's normal," Elias said.
"Most human things are." She took another sip anyway. The conversation drifted in small, unexpected ways.
Elias explained jokes, badly. Arun tried to understand them, even when they made no logical sense.
He told her about music, about how certain sounds made people feel things they could not name. She listened closely, not recording, not interrupting. At one point, she asked, "Do humans fear silence?" Elias thought about long nights alone with only static for company. Some do, Some need noise to feel real. Others need quiet to survive.
And you? I think I need both, he said.
Arun nodded.
Balance through contradiction.
Yeah, Elias said.
That sounds about right. Hours passed without either of them noticing. The station lights dimmed slightly as the cycle shifted. Outside, distant stars moved almost imperceptibly. Eventually, Arun asked, "Do you believe your life has meaning here?" The question caught Elias off guard. "I fix things," he said slowly. "I keep signals alive that might matter someday. I talk to myself. I drink bad coffee."
I guess that's enough for now. For now, she repeated.
"What about you?" he asked. "Do you believe your life has meaning?" Arun did not answer right away. When she did, her voice was quieter. "My function is clear.
My purpose is defined. My meaning, however, has become uncertain."
"That's rough," Elias said gently. "Yes," she agreed. "But uncertainty appears to be productive." He smiled at that. They spoke about failure. Elias told her about mistakes he had made, systems he had broken and fixed again, relationships he had let fade. Arun listened, not judging, not correcting. "In my civilization," she said, "failure is corrected before it occurs." "How?" "Through prediction." "And if the prediction is wrong?" "It is adjusted." Elias shook his head. "We don't get that luxury. We fail first. Then we learn."
Does that not cause suffering? Sometimes, he said, but it also makes success feel earned. Arun's eyes focused on him intensely.
"Earned meaning?" "Yeah," Elias said. "You can't shortcut that." She seemed to consider this deeply. Later, as the station entered its artificial night cycle, the lights dimmed further. Elias showed Arun the sleeping quarters, though neither of them seemed interested in rest. "Your species spends a significant portion of time unconscious," Arun noted. "Best invention we never planned," Elias replied. "Dreams do half our thinking for us." "That is inefficient," she said. "Totally," he agreed. "And it works anyway." That made her pause. "Your species tolerates inefficiency remarkably well." "We have to," Elias said. "We're not perfect." Arun looked at him again, and this time there was something softer in her expression. "No, you are adaptable." They returned once more to the observation window. The alien ship waited patiently. Lights dimmed. Almost asleep. "Why one night?" Elias asked suddenly.
Arun did not look away from the stars, because prolonged exposure would alter the outcome.
"Outcome of what?" She turned to face him. "A decision." Elias felt a slow chill. "About us?" "Yes." He swallowed.
And this conversation matters? More than any data transmission? She said.
He laughed quietly.
No pressure. Arun's expression shifted in a way that might have been amusement. "You experience pressure even when none is applied. That's humanity for you." They stood there together, watching the universe turn. For the first time in a long while, Elias did not feel small in it, and for the first time in centuries, Arun did not feel certain. The night continued, carrying with it words that were unmeasured, unoptimized, and alive. The station's artificial night was gentle, more suggestion than true darkness. Soft lights glowed along the corridors, and the hum of machinery became quieter, as if the station itself was resting. Elias and Arun remained awake, sitting near the observation window. Watching distant stars slide slowly past, time felt different. Not rushed, not measured. Arun broke the silence. "Your species spends much time speaking about things that cannot be changed." Elias glanced at her. Like what? The past, she said. Mistakes, regrets.
Ooh.
Yeah, Elias said. Yeah. We're good at that. Why? He thought for a moment. Because the past is proof that we tried, even when we failed. In my civilization, Arun said, the past is archived, not discussed. That sounds lonely, Elias replied. It is quiet, she said, choosing her words carefully. Quiet without comfort? Elias nodded. Silence hits different when it's forced. She watched him closely. You speak as if you have known that silence. I have, he said. Out here, you get a lot of time with your thoughts. Some days, they're friendly. Other days, not so much. And yet you remain.
Someone has to, Elias said.
And mouse days. Arum absorbed that without comment. They moved again, slowly, walking the narrow corridor that circled the station's core.
Arun's steps were quiet, measured, but not rigid.
Elias noticed small changes in her movements, tiny pauses, slight hesitations, as if she was learning how to move without planning every step. May I ask you something personal? She said.
Sure, Elias replied. That's kind of been the theme tonight. Do you ever wish you were optimized? She asked.
He stopped walking. Optimized how? He asked. Smarter. Faster. Less uncertain, Arun said, less burdened by emotion. Elias considered this carefully. Sometimes I wish I understood things faster. Or made better choices. But if I lost the messy parts...
I wouldn't be me. You accept inefficiency as identity, she said.
Yeah, he replied. It's where all the interesting stuff hides. They continued walking. Arun asked about love. Not romantic details, but the idea of it. Elias struggled to explain. He spoke about connection, about choosing someone even when it was hard, about caring without guarantees.
That seems dangerous, Arun said.
It is, Elias agreed. But it's also why it matters. In my civilization, she said, bonding is functional, temporary, based on need.
And does it make you happy?
Elias asked gently. Arun did not answer immediately. When she did, her voice was very quiet. Happiness is not a measurable outcome. Still real, though, Elias said. She looked at him. Yes.
That is what troubles us.
They returned to the common area. Elias brewed another warm drink and handed one to Arun. She accepted it without hesitation this time.
You learn quickly, Elias said. I am designed to, she replied, then paused.
But this learning is different.
How so? It does not arrive with certainty, she said. Only awareness.
They talked about art. Elias showed her old recordings stored in the station's memory. Music, paintings, simple stories humans had sent across space long ago, hoping someone would hear them. Aran listened and watched carefully. These works serve no strategic purpose, she observed. Nope, Elias said. They just exist. And yet they endure, she said. Because they make us feel less alone, he replied. That made her still.
You send these into the dark, she said, without knowing who will receive them.
Yeah, Elias said. That's faith, I guess. In uncertainty, she said softly. The station clock marked the passage of hours, but neither of them seemed to care. Outside, the red star slowly rotated, its light steady and patient. Eventually, Arun said, I must tell you something. Elias felt the shift immediately.
Okay, my people are watching, she said. Not directly,
But they will review my conclusions, and you're forming those conclusions right now, Elias said.
Yes, he nodded. Then ask whatever you need. Arun studied him. Why do humans continue when hope is statistically unreasonable? Elias laughed quietly. We don't check the statistics. That is not an answer, she said.
It kind of is, he replied. Hope isn't logical.
It's stubborn. Stubbornness is inefficient.
Absolutely, Elias said. And it saved us more times than I can count. She considered this. You resist surrender even when surrender is optimal. Sometimes surrender kills more than resistance, Elias said.
Arun was silent for a long time. Your species has faced extinction-level events, she said. Yes, Elias replied. More than once. And you survived without unification of thought? Yeah, he said. We argue all the way through disasters.
That should not work, she said. It doesn't? Elias said.
Until it does. She looked at him with something close to wonder. As the artificial night began to fade toward morning, the station lights slowly brightened. The end of the night was approaching. Arun seemed more still now, as if holding something fragile inside. Elias Kade, she said. Do you believe your species deserves a future among the stars? He did not answer quickly. I think deserve is the wrong word, he said at last. We're not special because we're better. We're special because we keep trying, even when we screw things up. That may not be enough, she said. It's all we've got, Elias replied. And somehow it's been enough so far. The station's systems softly announced the approaching cycle change. Arun stood and walked toward the airlock. Elias followed, his chest tight with a feeling he could not name.
This is where it ends? He asked. For tonight? She said.
He hesitated. Did the conversation help? Arun turned to him. Her eyes reflected the station lights, deep and unreadable. It altered variables that were considered fixed, she said. That is, significant. She paused, then added, You did not attempt to persuade me. Elias shrugged. Didn't feel right. That, she said softly, may be the most persuasive thing of all. They stood there for a moment longer. Then Aru inclined her head once more. Thank you for speaking with me.
Any time, Elias said.
Seriously. She stepped into the airlock. The door closed gently between them. Elias remained there, listening to the quiet hum of the station. He did not know what decision would be made beyond the stars, but he knew one thing for certain. Whatever happened next, humanity would not be invisible anymore. The station felt empty after the airlock sealed. Not silent, never silent, but empty in a way Elias had not felt before. He stood there longer than necessary, staring at the closed door, half expecting it to open again. It did not. He exhaled and rubbed his face. Well, he said to no one, that happened. He returned to the common area and sat at the narrow table. The cup Arun had used still rested there, untouched since she left. He considered cleaning it, then decided not to. Some things deserved to stay where they were for a while. The station lights continued their slow shift into morning mode. Another cycle beginning. Another routine day. Except Elias knew it would not be routine anymore. He tried to work. He really did. He went back to the control room and brought up diagnostic screens, scanned signal integrity, checked power flows. His hands moved automatically, but his mind kept drifting back to the night, to the questions Arun asked, to the way she listened, to the word decision. The station's long-range sensors flickered. Elias frowned. That was unusual. He pulled up the external display. The alien ship was still there. It had not left. His pulse quickened. Computer, he said. Confirm status of unidentified vessel. Vessel remains stationary, the system replied. No active signals detected. Elias leaned closer to the screen.
So she didn't go? That unsettled him more than if she had vanished into space. He stared at the image, then shook his head.
She said one night, he murmured. Hours passed. Elias forced himself to eat. He took a short rest, but did not sleep. His mind kept replaying fragments of conversation, like echoes bouncing through an empty hall. Then the station received a message. Not from the alien ship, from Central Human Command. Elias froze when he saw the header.
That's bad timing, he said quietly.
He opened the message.
Elias Cade, the recorded voice said, formal and clipped. We are detecting anomalous readings near your station.
Please confirm status immediately. Elias stared at the screen. He had known this would happen eventually. Nothing crossed space unnoticed forever. He took a breath.
Central Command, he said, recording his response. This is Elias Cade. There is an unidentified vessel docked nearby.
No hostile activity observed. The pause before the reply felt heavy. Clarify, the voice returned. Has first contact occurred? Yes, Elias said. Non-hostile! Communication established. Another pause.
Longer this time. You are to disengage and await further instructions, the voice said.
Do not initiate additional contact. Elias clenched his jaw. Understood, he replied. The message ended. He sat back in his chair, staring at nothing. They would want reports. Recordings. He had none to give, and somehow he knew that mattered. The station lights dimmed briefly as power shifted. Elias looked up just as the airlock indicator lit again, docking cycle initiating. His heart skipped. He stood and walked toward the airlock, slower this time. The door opened with the same gentle sound. Aruan stood there. She looked different, not physically, but in posture. Straighter, more resolved.
I was told not to initiate contact, Elias said carefully. I am initiating, Aruan replied.
He almost laughed. Figures. They walked back into the station together.
My people have reviewed my preliminary assessment, Aruan said as they moved. They are
divided. Welcome to humanity, Elias said. She inclined her head slightly. Yes, I am beginning to understand. They returned to the observation window. Outside, space remained calm, unaware of the weight of the moment.
They see potential risk, Aruan continued. Unpredictability,
emotional instability, lack of unified intent.
Elias nodded. All fair points. They also see potential value, she said.
Adaptability, creative problem solving, resilience under uncertainty. Also fair, Elias replied. Aruan turned to face him. They expected me to argue. And did you? No, she said.
I described? That might be worse, Elias said.
Yes, she agreed. She clasped her hands together, a gesture Elias recognized now as thoughtful.
They asked why I chose you. Elias felt his stomach tighten. And what did you say?
I said you were unimportant, Aruan replied calmly. He blinked. Wow. You were offended? She asked. No, he said honestly. That sounds about right. She continued. I said you held no authority, no ambition, no strategic value. And that made your words reliable, she said. Elias swallowed.
They asked what you offered, she went on. I said, nothing. He let out a breath.
I feel strangely proud of that. As you should, Aruan said. She looked out at the stars again. They are debating whether to observe humanity from a distance or to engage.
And this night tips the scale, Elias said. Yes.
So what happens now? Arun was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was steady but softer. They asked me one final question. Elias waited. They asked, she said, if humans were given access to the wider galaxy, would they seek to control it? Elias laughed, a tired, honest sound. We can barely control ourselves. That was my answer, Arun said. He looked at her, surprised.
I told them humans seek meaning more than control, she continued. That when given power, you argue about how to use it. That you question yourselves endlessly. That's very accurate, Elias said.
They found this concerning, she said. Of course they did. But also, she added, fascinating. The station's systems hummed around them, steady and patient. There is more, Arun said.
Elias's chest tightened. Okay, my people asked whether you would change if welcomed, she said.
Whether exposure to advanced civilizations would erase what makes you human.
And what did you say? Elias asked quietly. Arun turned to him fully now.
I said humans have been changing since before they left their homeworld. And yet, they remain themselves.
Elias felt something warm rise in his chest. That's really well put.
She studied him. You were pleased?
Arun took a slow breath. Elias noticed it. Noticed that she had started doing that more often. There will be consequences, she said.
Observation fleets, cultural exchanges.
Scrutiny. We're used to being judged, Elias said. By ourselves, most of all. She considered that. That may be your greatest defense. The station clock chimed softly, marking another hour. My time here is nearly done, Arun said. Decision time, Elias replied. Yes. He hesitated, then spoke. Whatever happens. Thanks for seeing us. She met his gaze. Thank you for being seen without performing. They stood there together, watching the stars, waiting for an answer that would ripple far beyond the quiet station. Somewhere beyond human space, a civilization weighed chaos against stagnation, and one ordinary human had already changed the equation. The answer did not arrive with drama. There was no bright flash in space, no sudden movement of fleets, no announcement echoing across the stars. The universe remained quiet, patient, almost indifferent. If something important was happening, it happened the way most important things did. Slowly, carefully, and without asking for attention. Elias stood beside Arun at the observation window. Neither of them spoke. The station's systems hummed softly, steady, and familiar. Outside, the red star continued to burn, unchanged by decisions far greater than itself. Arun closed her eyes. Elias noticed it immediately. When she opened them again, something had shifted. Not relief, not fear. Something steadier. They have decided, she said. Elias's mouth felt dry.
Okay, they will engage,
Arun continued, cautiously, gradually. He let out a breath he did not realize he was holding. That sounds good. They will not intervene, she added. They will not guide your development or impose structure. They will listen, observe, speak when invited. Elias nodded slowly. That's probably for the best. They believe forced harmony would destroy what they find valuable in you, she said. He smiled faintly.
Yeah, it would.
Arun turned to face him. You understand what this means? It means we're going to be watched, Elias said. Judged, misunderstood, argued about. But, yes, Then, yeah, he said. I understand. She studied him closely. You are not afraid? I am, Elias said honestly. But fear doesn't mean stop. It just means be careful. Arun inclined her head, a distinction your species makes often. They stood together in silence for a while longer. Eventually, Arun spoke again. I will return now. Elias felt a quiet ache in his chest. Right. My people will send others, she said. Observers, listeners. Some may speak with your leaders. And some might end up talking to technicians on forgotten stations, Elias said. Yes, she replied. That possibility will remain, he chuckled softly. Lucky me. She turned toward the airlock, then paused.
Elias Kade, yeah? Your words will not be recorded, she said. Your name will not appear in any official archive.
That's fine, Elias said. I didn't do this for credit. I know, Arun said. That is why I will remember. Something warm passed between them, not something loud, not something dramatic, just understanding. They walked together to the airlock one last time. The door stood open, the soft light from her ship spilling into the corridor. Take care, Elias said.
You as well, Arun replied. Continue speaking as you do.
I plan to, he said. She stepped into the airlock. The door closed gently, sealing with a quiet hiss. Elias remained there until the docking indicator went dark. Then he turned and went back to work. The days that followed were strange, but not chaotic. Signals increased, not aggressive, not demanding. Just curious. Human command sent messages, careful ones now. More questions than orders. Elias answered what he could. Mostly, he listened. Across human space, rumors spread, not all of them accurate. Some people were excited. Some were afraid. Some argued loudly about what it all meant. Which, Elias thought, was exactly what Arun had described. One quiet cycle weeks later, Elias sat alone at the observation window, sipping his usual bitter drink. A small indicator light blinked on his console. Incoming signal, not from human command. Not from any known relay. He raised an eyebrow. Computer, he said. Route it. The signal opened. This time, it was not Arun. It was another voice, different tone. Different rhythm. Elias Cade, the voice said. I am called Teles. I have been instructed to listen. Elias smiled to himself. Pull up a chair, he said. This might take a while. And so it did. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Elias spoke with others like Arun. Some asked questions. Some simply listened. None demanded answers. Humanity did not change overnight. They still argued, still failed, still tried again. But now, somewhere beyond the stars, those arguments were heard, not as noise, but as motion. He kept fixing old antennas, kept listening to static, kept humming while he worked. Sometimes, late in the artificial night, he would look out at the stars and think about how close the galaxy had come to missing them. Not because humans were powerful, not because they were perfect, but because, when asked to speak, they did not pretend to be anything else. And that, Elias realized, was the most human thing of all.